Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm sure you know who I am at this point, but for those who don't, my name's William. I'm here today with a new presentation topic I'm obviously here to present to you today. The digital divide. Now, I'm sure a good number of you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've seen it before, you've heard of it before, you've maybe even done projects on it. But just as a formality, let me quickly go over what exactly the digital divide is. The digital divide is obviously, a divide is in the name, of people who have technology or those who have technology but, getting ahead of myself, those who have technology and those who don't. However, it could also be that you have technology but you're not quite adept at using it. The digital divide is a very big problem, especially with technology on the rise, growing more and more prevalent in modern day life, whether it be in school, education, or even in jobs, where knowing technology is a question they're going to ask you on an interview because you need to know how to do this stuff. However, the Digital Divide Council states that 3.5 million people still do not have access to technology. Now, 3.5 billion is obviously a lot, but to put it in perspective, the world's population is 8 billion. 3.5 billion, it's nearly half of the people on the planet. That's a pretty big problem. Now, what exactly caused this to happen? Obviously, it just didn't snap in one day. Obviously, it had to snowball from something. Well, the biggest problem is low income. Now, I'm sure as you've all know, especially with iPhones, technology is pretty expensive. But we do not have proper income to afford said technology. For example, as you can see by this graph, this blue line right here, meant to be purple, but the printer kind of messed it up. This line shows the highest income of 200,000 or more, versus this line down here, sort of meant to be red, but again, the printer messed it up. Much lower than this one right here. It also shows the access to technology. Obviously, you can see the difference. And there's a couple other medians in there for you to see. Now, there are three main divides to this digital divide. As I already mentioned beforehand, the technological divide, which is those who have it, those who don't. But a slightly rarer one is those who have technology, they have it, but they don't quite know how to make the most of it. Or those who just don't use very good sources. For example, you want to look up, say, a trial or a war or how to make bread. You could either go to a reputable kitchen network site or you could go to Wikipedia. I'm sure you don't need me to explain why that's not a good idea. I mean, even teachers aren't okay with it. Probably not a good source. Fox 13 Now, and I know I'm using Fox, but trust me, this is a good source, says that COVID-19 has helped to shed a light on the digital divide and sort of start to give a solution, which is a good segue into my next part. What are some solutions? How do we fix this problem that has been caused? Well, the Harvard Business Review gives the solution of adding infrastructure in the places that have the lowest broadband networks. For example, places like New Mexico or Arkansas, they have the lowest. You start off with the lowest or the most powerful, and everything else will fizzle out to equal net access for all. The governments can also help. They could perhaps partner with, say, Apple to give, like, the government will give you money, or will give the tech people money. Hey, we'll give you money, can you help build better infrastructure around the country? And they'll be like, yeah, sure, we can do that for you. What would the world look like if all this was solved? Well, first off, the cost of technology would definitely be cheaper, which, for those who like the new phones, new computers, new all that, that's a very good thing for you because it's cheaper, you can save money, perhaps you can get yourself something better. It'll also push technology further. If you have more people who want your technology and have access to your technology, that'll be bigger competition. And as they say, competition leads to innovation. You might have someone come up in the next 5 to 10 years like, hey, I know the Apple's cool, but I have this new phone that's going to be better than Apple, better than anything, and they'll go on to be successful. Who knows? It might be you, or maybe even your children. Something to think about. Now, how can you help? Obviously, I'm sure that you want to help after hearing this. Or if not, then sorry I lost you. But for those who do, in the description below, I provide the link to a website that, if you have a moment of your time, go check out. I'm not going to force you, but if you have a moment, check it out. Who knows, you might be enlightened even more than me presenting this speech to you. Thank you all for listening today, and you have an excellent day. Stay safe out there.